Okay. We're live. All right, welcome to another episode of the Heavy Hybrid Podcast featuring myself and Big Red.
How are we?
Today we're going to be going through nutrition-related stuff, training and nutrition for fat loss while running and lifting, which is something I'm sure many people want to know about. How do you get shredded while running and lifting? Should you get shredded? What are the things to do? What are the things not to do? And all that kind of stuff.
Yep. But before that, did you do the Hock, not the Hock half. What did you do, the 10K? Did we talk about this last
The
time?
12K?
Did we talk about the 12K?
I don't know.
No, the hills. You did it up in the hills, in the fucking mountains.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Oh, yeah, all right.
What did you learn from it? Because you told me, you haven't fucking told
Yeah,
us.
okay. So anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago now. I think, I don't think we filmed since then. I had a trail run in the Snowy Mountains, 12K trail run. Not very long, but very hard. Altitude was about 1,500 to 1,750 meters high, which isn't a lot, but it actually caught me by surprise. Like, it was notable.
Yeah, right. What, like breathing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was only running at like 5-minute pace, and it felt like I was running at like 3-minute pace.
Yeah, right.
It was fucking hard.
Okay.
And the thing is, the guy that was coming first was only probably running at 4:45.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and he came first. So anyway, I came 10th. The guy who came first, I think, finished with 56 minutes. I finished at 1 hour and 4 minutes.
Okay.
And I came 10th. So it was actually not that hard. I mean, not that like big a gap between first and like 20th. Like we were all pretty close.
Yeah.
But there were over 100 competitors, and it was just a fucking hard run.
Yeah, especially on a trail run, 100 people.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Trail, and then there were other people running who had done like, there were people still finishing the 50K and ultras and stuff. So we were on the same track as them.
You're just moving around cunts all the time.
Well, not the whole time, because you're kind of by that point, you kind of find your own area.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just, trail running is so different. Like you don't realize you're running uphill because you're always looking at the floor and dodging.
Yeah, you're just looking constantly.
Yeah, because you're always I fell over twice. One of those stacks I literally front flipped.
Oh, yeah?
But surprisingly, like that was better, because I fell on my back and it didn't hurt. Whereas I felt like if I grazed my side, I would have fucked myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just people were dropping like flies. I think a lot of people were trying to go faster than they realized that, you know, how hard it is.
Yeah.
Because then also, like, you're running and then you're like, turn, and you don't even realize the turn's there.
Yeah, okay.
One bit, we had to climb over and then under a tree. Like...
What?
Yeah. It's not like it's just a path. You're like dodging
just
and
fucking
weaving.
Yeah, right.
And then the dude who came first, like this guy's probably like 60 kilos. And for the first 2Ks, we were all trying to keep up with each other. And I'm like, bro, I'm 94 kilos. This guy's like 60.
Yeah.
I can't fit in places like he can.
Yeah. He just moves in and out.
Yeah, he's just weaving. And I'm like, choo choo.
Yeah.
It's like, you know when you play that, I don't know who told me this analogy, you know when you play that game where you put like square inside square, triangle.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It was like, he was the triangle fitting neatly into the triangle bit. I was the square that like, you couldn't fit. Like it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was good fun. I'm going to do more trails.
You'll do more trails, huh?
You should do them.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
This mad, you can like, obviously me and Jess, my missus, we had a little weekend away as well, like in the mountains. And It just gives us a reason to go somewhere.
Yeah, fuck.
Do shit like...
And it's more nature.
Bro, it's sick. It's sick. But you got to change your expectations for trail running. It's not like road racing where...
You can keep the pace.
You keep the pace, this, that. You really just go in and just try to do it and do it as best you can. And obviously don't get injured, because you can get injured fucking easily.
Yeah.
And obviously you got to go slower.
What about shoes? You wear the same shoes, different shoes?
No, well, I actually have a pair of trail running shoes.
Okay.
That I also wear for like road running anyway.
Oh yeah, okay.
They're
hybrid shoes.
Well, kind of. You can wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
Some people go hard. Like if you're doing an ultra, or like a longer distance race, longer than 12K, I would definitely wear like a proper trail running shoe. But if you're doing a shorter one, I guess you could probably get away with whatever.
Like a runner's, yeah. But like, okay, so there's like the trail running shoes are just better grip and shit.
Grip.
Like that,
that's the main issue. They're just grip.
Yeah.
Grip, and some of them don't have as much of a
cushion.
Heel drop.
Oh, heel drop. Okay.
Yeah, which is where the heel is high and then they taper off. Some of them are a bit more flat.
Oh, true.
I think it's I don't know what the exact reason is. I should find out, but I think it's something to do with the way that just trail running is.
Probably the inclines and declines.
Yeah, all the different terrains you're running on. It's actually easier.
Keeping constant on the foot.
Just to be flat.
Yeah. You probably end up getting fucking like plantar pretty bad then. Plantar fasciitis, shit like that.
Yeah. I don't know any.
Hypothesizing here, guys.
I don't know any. I don't know any people that do like hardcore trail running right now.
Yeah.
But everyone I know who does, like this one guy I know, he runs in those barefoot shoes.
Oh.
He'll do ultras in it, but
like Vibrams and shit.
Yeah. Those.
What?
Yeah.
I couldn't do that, bro.
I don't
You step
think
on
I
a
could
fucking
either.
rock, man.
Yeah.
Like even a sharp little rock.
Sorry, I don't know if they're the barefoot ones, but they're the, what are those flat ones?
Oh, the fives, whatever they're called. Like
Whatever they are.
FEIVs or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like just like one flat shoe.
That's it.
Yeah,
but they're
okay,
expensive.
okay. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and they've got the wide toe box.
Right, okay. They look ugly as sin, hey?
Yeah, I wouldn't wear them.
Yeah.
But some people love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, trail running's just got a different world.
If anyone does trail running, let us know.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Or any upcoming races. I've looked up a few, but trail running is actually also hard to get into because like the Blue Mountains races that like literally sell out in like half a day.
Yeah. And they can only have so many people on a
Yeah,
track
you
too.
can only have that many people. They make you run with your phone. You need to have a GPS watch. You need to show them I have this much water.
Yeah,
like it's a whole
really?
checklist.
Good.
Yeah.
So you're not just
naturally.
100%. You're not just going to sign up like a Hoka half where there's fucking how many of yous?
Yeah.
And like, all right, just go run.
And
like,
some guys running in like a chicken outfit.
Yeah,
it doesn't work like that. It's like, bro, you actually got to.
Yeah.
You got to be serious.
You got to be fucking serious, bro.
All right. Training and nutrition for fat loss while running and lifting. So there's a lot to go through. I don't know if we're going to get through all of it. We'll touch on as much as we can.
Predominantly fat loss today more than anything.
Yeah,
We
definitely more
decided to break
fat
it up
loss.
a bit, yeah.
And if you don't know, I'm a sports nutritionist, although I don't really practice it, but Tyson is a practicing sport nutritionist who knows way more about this stuff than I do. So he's going to be answering vast majority of the questions relating to this, and I'm going to kind of be directing them his way. So, all right, first one, obviously, what is a calorie deficit? Just quickly.
Real quick, so calorie deficit would just be eating fewer calories than you need for your body to have, just to maintain your weight more than anything.
That's it.
So if you're eating for calorie needs at maintenance, you're maintaining where you're currently at. And maintenance doesn't mean your weight's going to be exactly the same. There's still going to be fluctuation, but eating a calorie deficit is less than your body needs in order to lose body weight, ideally body fat more than body weight.
Yeah. And how much is a realistic amount for people to lose in general, or if it's different, do you think for hybrids to lose? Is there any differences, or how much do you think is realistic?
If you're an athlete, so hybrid or weight train with weights, or like, you know, anything, like you want to preserve as much muscle mass as possible. So I would say like the slower the better.
Yeah.
Like 0.5% of body weight per week is like the ideal, but it's not going to average out to exactly per week. Like I'd look at it over the month, which means you'd probably lose 2% of your body weight in a month. Slower than that is actually still fine, all right? That's what I'd say the upper limit, I would personally say, if performance is your goal, you'd want to lose 2% in a month of your body weight.
Yeah,
Which, so for example, 94 kilos, you're going to lose like 1.8 kilos, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 kilos a month, which may not seem like a lot, but it's like, you want to maintain muscle, you want to maintain performance.
Yeah.
These things are still going to be important, so losing it as fast as possible. If you've got a powerlifting competition, maybe it's different. You know, you got to lose, like there can be acute weight cut strategies and stuff, but if you want to lose body fat, you take it slower.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I'm dieting right now for the race that I have in 7-8 weeks. I started 2 weeks ago. I'm about 2.5 kilos down.
Yeah.
Roughly.
It's also water weight.
Or maybe even, I could be 3 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I already notice, it's funny though, like, cause I notice my runs feel better, but gym does it.
Yes.
Which is, I knew was going to happen.
Yeah, you'll feel quicker and like lighter on your feet when it comes to your cardiovascular stuff usually, and then when it comes to the weight, things will still just. It's like you don't have that extra gear to push a little bit, you know.
Yeah. So generally in hybrid training, right? The way I look at it is you have this is for people that run and lift. Your best weight is a range.
Yeah.
That's the way I find it for me anyway.
And we know our range is about 90.
So I know my strongest weight and efficient in terms of strength is around that 94, 95 kilo mark.
Yeah.
But I know my fastest weight and fittest is generally maybe 92 and below. So say 90 kilos. So anywhere in between there is normally where I'll try to stay. But obviously the lower I am, the faster and fitter I feel, the heavier I am, the stronger and whatever else I feel. This isn't to say that it's inhibiting my performance, but I definitely feel stronger when I'm heavier and I definitely feel fitter when I'm lighter. So for some people that I work with anyway, I try to stress to them that you're not always going to be able to feel your absolute best, particularly when you have a race coming up, you're going to drop a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
But if you have a lifting competition coming up, it's not a bad idea to gain a little bit of weight too, if you do want to be as strong as you can on the day, given that you don't have to fit into a weight class or whatever else.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I have found myself, I'm at 90 kilos, I'm the strongest I've been. But also, like, you've been doing powerlifting longer than me. For me, I feel like it's more neural adaptation than anything.
Yeah.
And just training the movements more than anything.
Yeah.
Because I've never, I guess, had such a focus period in trying to improve my strength as I'm doing now. Like, I've always been, like, stronger, but, like, now, like, you know, John has got me doing the heavy bench presses and shit.
Yeah.
So redoing that, it's like, I'm finding my strength is better now, even at this weight range. But we both know, like, if I go over 92 kilos, bro, my cardio performance is just fucking shit.
Yeah.
And not like it's nothing, but it's like I feel that 2 kilos fucking hugely, you know?
Instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. Yeah, see, for me, because I have to focus on the running a bit now for the race, the frequency that I do the heavy stuff, squatting, benching, and deadlifting, like squatting, I'm only doing once a week because I can literally, honestly, I can't really do it much more than that. I'm running 4 days a week. My legs are fucked. I can't. Yeah. And it's unrealistic to think that I'm going to perform well at my squats by doing it more anyway.
Exactly.
Like for me right now, once is enough. It's enough for me to still increase a little bit of weight each week, but also enough for me to just not lose that much either.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's
everyone knows a fucking sweet spot, dude. Well, no, sorry, that's wrong. Not everyone will know their sweet spot, but you'll figure it out, engage it as you get into the more into this side of things. Yeah. And like I think for a lot of you, like we talk about hybrid athlete, most of you, I have a feeling in my head, you're either going to be more someone who is a runner or let's say triathlete or whatever, and you want to get a bit stronger with weights, or you're someone who has been powerlifting, etc., and you want to get into the cardio. So you're probably already going to have one thing you're actually probably better at the start with, which is fine. Don't expect to be able to just obliterate the other side of things. Like, you know, go up like hugely amounts, but you will be able to figure out where a good, I guess, category is for you to sit.
Or range, whatever.
Because the interesting thing is like I don't think like triathlons, running, none of them have weight classes.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Not even Ironmans and shit, huh?
No.
You just fucking go.
Age groups.
Yeah. That is actually wild.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah, but it's also because most of those guys know that just being lighter is better.
But cycling does. So this guy was telling me the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's like, you'd be really good for Clydesdale. And I was like, what the fuck, isn't that a horse? He's like, no, it's for the boys over 100 kilos who do cycling and duathlons. He's like, you'd be very competitive in that. And I was like, I did not know the weight class. Did not even know his weight class, hey? So weirdly, in cycling, maybe he's taken, I actually haven't looked into this, but apparently there's weight categories. Yeah, because he goes, you'd be pretty competitive with that over 100 kilos.
You should do that. That'd be
I think so, yeah.
But you wouldn't want to bulk up.
Well, maybe I could just compete and be this weight. I'd fucking do it.
True.
Why not,
right,
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Unless it's
I wouldn't get to
100
100. Fuck, man. Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine going
No, bro. I got to 99 once and I was just like, no good.
My heaviest 103.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I felt strong.
Yeah.
But, bro.
Life is not good at all.
You know what I don't like? I don't like that when I lifted my head up, I could feel rolls on the back of my head.
Yeah.
Like I could feel like I had skin fat on the back of my head. I'm like, nah. And the breathing, everything.
Right, the breathing.
I'm like, nah.
The sleep was shit.
Yeah, always tired.
Yes, and for me, walking uphill, I was like, I don't like this at all.
Mind you, we weren't like, honestly, I wasn't even that fat.
Yeah,
like,
no, not fat.
Like
not
I
fat.
wasn't.
Like we still had definition. It's just soft. It's just soft.
I'm leaner than your dad's. Put it that way. But like. But like, bro, I felt like shit.
I felt like shit too.
I don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
Fuck, no disrespect to anyone who's having weight problems right now, but I personally fucking was struggling at life.
And
for me, I was like, look, I can do this.
I don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you know if you're dropping too much weight, and at what point do you think you've dropped enough? How would you realize you've kind of like, okay, I've dropped enough?
Okay. So, I guess there's two questions.
Yeah.
How do you know if you're dropping too much?
Yeah.
Well, I'd kind of go over what I said before. If you're losing more than 1% of your body weight a week, you're losing too much. The more body fat you have, you could probably lose a little bit faster. And to be honest, you'd probably improve both performance in your lifting and your training if you have a fair bit of body fat. Because it'll improve your leverages with weightlifting, I guess not bench press potentially because you'll have less mass around your chest, but you'd be faster too in regards to your cardiovascular exercise. So if you have more body fat, you could lose faster. But if you're losing more than, like I said, I would say like 2 to 3% of body weight a month, you're losing it too fast, which means it's good because you just increase calories a little bit to help mitigate that. I wouldn't say reduce your activity, I'd just say increase your calories because you want to be in energy availability, which is something important too. But also the other thing I was going to bring up with that, losing too fast, the first week or two, I would probably say about 2 weeks when you first lose weight, you will see a big drop on the scale and that is fine.
If you're accurate.
If you're accurate. Yeah. Just ignore the first 2 weeks basically. It's just going to be, like it'll be fine, but you might drop like the higher you are again. Like how much do you weigh? You drop in the first week?
I was like 95.
Yeah.
I reckon I got to 92 and a half in the first like 8 days.
Yeah. I'm the same. I am like fucking water balloon.
Yeah.
When I start dropping, especially like you don't want to drop carbs, but like we just have to have a reduction in calories and carbs. I just fucking like drop weight like that.
Yeah.
So those first 2 weeks, don't think, oh shit, I'm losing too fast. Use those first 2 weeks to kind of gauge yourself with just, are you eating enough calories in general? After those first 2 weeks, then start to track your weight averages throughout the weeks and see, are you at a sustainable rate of loss?
Yeah.
Second question was?
At what point do you think, like, do you realize, like, at what point, if you know in yourself, would you say, yes, I've lost enough weight? Oof. Like,
That is very tough.
Is there a marker? Like, for me, I know for what I'm looking for right now with my running, for example, I know I haven't lost enough because I know that if I can get a little bit lighter, especially, and this is mainly for running, I would say anyway, you're going to feel so much better. And it's like, if you have a target for a race or something that you're trying to hit, in training, if you know your runs in training are roughly in the ballpark of where your goal is, right? And I'm not saying you need to be running at race pace, but you know, okay, that, 3K run at 5-minute pace felt super easy this week. And I'm 2 kilos lighter than I was, 2 weeks before.
Oh, yep.
And I know my race is 4 weeks away, and I know that I need to do, 5Ks at 5-minute pace. I think roughly, just by using that as a metric or as like a gauge, I think I'm on track.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's little things you can kind of play around with or notice in your own training and even daily life that you might be like, I think I'm on the right track. I think the issue will be when you feel like shit.
Yeah, like self-awareness is very key.
It's hard.
The way you mentioned that too, it makes me think, if you're also noticing those improvements, which you will, and you're in a calorie deficit, I would not have you deficiting very close to the race. Which means if you're performing that good as you're deficiting, you're going to be performing better in your race when you are actually fueled.
Yes.
So that's a good indicator. If you're like, holy fuck, I'm feeling better, my performance is feeling better with my runs, I'm feeling like, again, things are just working well. And it's not going to be every day that happens, but if you can look at your performance trend across weeks too, we got to look in weekly segments and like ideally 2 to 3 week segments versus per session or per week, I guess I would say. Because if you can see that trend going in the right direction, even if there's a shit day here or there, which you're going to have shit days, if the majority is still moving towards a faster pace, feeling better on your feet, just getting in a better rhythm, and you're still in a deficit, you're doing pretty good. Yeah. Again, like knowing when to stop your deficit or when you're light enough, that's quite hard because I guess, again, body fat is going to be determination, performance overall. So you actually might get to a point where you're eating too little calories or in too much of a deficit where performance is actually negatively impacting you.
Yeah.
If it's more than 2 weeks in a row where you're just like, your runs are shit, you feel like shit, but also let's think about, is your sleep still good? Are you still like, is there stress and shit? If we can eliminate that stuff and you're still feeling like shit, performing like shit, you're probably either dieting too much, too aggressively, or you've actually lost too much weight.
Yeah. See, like I can only use myself as an example right now because I'm literally in the middle of it. But like my goal for my next race is I said to myself, I want to be under 90, about 88 kilos by the time I get there. It's still 7 weeks away. I know though, if, hypothetically in a couple of weeks time, if I just feel like shit, like everything you just said, energy's low, runs are feeling poor, gym feels like shit, sleep is getting affected, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, maybe then it's not a good indication that I need to keep dropping weight. I might actually need to stop dropping weight right now. So you can use little things like that. You can always still have a target of weight loss or whatever it is, a number that you want to achieve, but just don't get so fixated on it because, maybe it might not be the right number for you to go for right now. Maybe you said, I want to drop, like I said, I want to drop to 88 kilos, losing 6 kilos in 8 weeks. Maybe that was too ambitious. Maybe I really need to do it over 12 weeks and maybe I need to just call it when I call it and then revisit that after the race.
I would say like if you do the cardio side of things, whether it be running, triathlon, etc., just don't have a weight goal, I would personally say.
Yes,
like because
that too.
It's just like fuck, why?
Yeah.
If you're lighter, you're gonna perform better most likely anyways.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, oh, I wish I lost 4 kilos, I only lost 3.5, you're still gonna be faster and performing better. So it's like don't have that target goal as your set point, because then if you start to negatively perform and you're just like, I've got to hit this weight goal, you're just fucking ruining yourself. For nothing, because you're like, oh, this is weight number. Your goal is performance, not weight when it comes to your cardiovascular side of things.
Yes,
I'd even say like with like if you were to do powerlifting, let's say,
that's the same.
You can fuck around with weight a little bit more with weight water cuts and shit close to comp, but it's like, listen, if you aren't competitive, like, I don't want to be rude, but if you're not going to be fucking placing first, second, or third in your weight class, don't fucking negate, like, don't try and get to, I've got to get to my next weight class if you're not even going to fucking be able to place in the top 3. You're wasting your time. No offense, but it's like, it's a fucking waste.
It is, bro. If you're not even going to be in powerlifting, this is for me and most of the people I coach, if you're not going to be going in and aiming for top 3 in whatever weight class you're going for, just go in at whatever weight you are. Or actually try and gain a bit of weight so you might even be stronger on the day. there's really not much of a point unless you're really at that top level to try to drop weight. Like I just don't understand it. Like spend more time getting stronger.
Yes.
Drop weight later.
Yeah.
Do you know how all the super strong people got strong? They didn't cut.
Yeah.
Like that's normally why they got strong. They just spent more time in a surplus. If you ever see someone on the internet who just seems to be putting up big numbers all the time, I guarantee you they're not in a deficit.
Yeah, watch how often they're in a deficit. They talk about it. Very fucking little.
If any.
Yeah.
No, they're fucking never in a deficit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they just cut when they need to for a comp because the chances are you'll be able to at least hold the majority of that strength now and then cut. But you need to be eating more to gain it though.
Yeah.
And it's really hard if you're not a beginner to gain strength and muscle when you're in a deficit. Like if you're a beginner, you'll be able to do it, but once you get to that intermediate, even closer to advanced stage, mate, you got to eat more.
Yeah.
It's just you got to. That's it.
Yeah.
You got to gain weight. You got to. I actually have someone I coach now. She's a female. Her bench has been stuck for ages, and for the next comp, we're going for a placing, so she has to drop weight.
Yep.
But we've also accepted the fact that means her numbers are going to be a little bit weaker potentially on the day, and we know that if she wants to get stronger. Look, we're probably going to have to gain another 4 or 5 kilos after the competition.
Yeah.
She knows it. I know it. It's a long-term plan.
Yeah.
But right now, we've got the competition coming up, and we think let's just try and drop a little bit of weight and try and get it. We're aiming for first.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
So in that case, it's different.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, you just sometimes to get stronger, you really just have to gain.
Yeah.
You got to cop it.
Like for me, just so you guys know, over the last, this is why like a lot of you probably do follow a lot of like just competitors in general, like because the bodybuilding side of things is so put out in Instagram. They're always cutting and bulking. Don't fucking follow them at all, okay? Like honestly, your goal is not to be stepping on stage. I hope not, because you listen to us for hybrid side of things. Yeah. And that a lot of that has influence and like people got to cut and bulk, and it's like no. You got to eat enough to perform more than anything. In the last 4 years, I dieted once. And that was last year, and it was a 12-week diet that took it slow, and I lost like I lost 5 kilos total. I went from 97 down to 92. And then I've been fluctuating, like not intentionally dieting, fluctuating between 92 and 90 for the last, 12 months now. And I've just been working on my strength and my performance, eating enough to perform. That's all you gotta fucking focus on. And people are like, oh, it's boring. It's like, okay, well, guess what? I fucking outperform the majority of people just because I'm not actually always trying to fucking eat less and actually trying to focus on my performance more.
Yeah. What adjustments do you think you should make to your diet when you're in a deficit to kind of support hybrid training? Are there any adjustments?
Yeah,
other than obviously being in a deficit. But
so look, when you look at your total calorie intake, you're gonna have to take a portion of that for your protein. So it's like, we look at that in like your thirds and like a little, what's that? What's your thirds called?
A pie chart.
A pie chart, that's the one.
What are your thirds called?
Yeah, what are your thirds called?
Pie chart.
So the pie chart. So you got your 3 triangles in a pie chart. You got your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats. So your protein is going to be roughly about 2 to 2.0 grams per kilogram body weight. So you're going to slide that out there and calculate that. Then your fat intake is, I would say, about 1 gram per kilogram. Some people can go lower. I just think for hormone health and overall health, you probably want to have that 1 gram mark. So for example, for me, let's say it's 200 grams of protein, 90 grams of fat, and then the rest come from my carbohydrates, okay? Now, carbohydrates are gonna be a really good fuel source for your performance, but you're gonna have to learn to take from it somewhere, right? This is why we also start with 1 gram of fat, because then when you need to drop your calories, you have the ability to drop calories from fat and not take away from carbohydrates from performance. So that's how it kind of started off more than anything. And the adjustments you make, you have to look at if your weight loss is stalled at any point, you look at your consistency over the last 2 weeks. I always say a minimum of 2 weeks. The reason for this is because 1 week is never going to fucking give you enough information, or the body just does funny things, you know. There's water retention because you're stressed and
female
training
menstrual
hard.
cycle is a huge one.
Female menstrual cycle. If you're a female, it's even different, okay? If you're a female, you've got to compare your apples to apples. Week 1 of your menstrual cycle to week 1. Week 2, week 2. Week 3, you've got your fucking phases, your follicular phase, your menstrual cycle, all that stuff. They've got to compare it like that because your body just fucking does this all the time. So you've got to be able to use that and look at your data. So I would say, tracking your period, all these type of things, you can look and accurately assess your data before you make an adjustment. As a male, it's a little bit easier, but still 2 week blocks before you make a change. Because people go, oh, I must have plateaued, I haven't seen results in a week. And it's like, it's been fucking a week, man,
Relax.
So relax. You got your weight, you got your measurements, you got performance. They're things you're going to be measuring every fortnight ideally to know if you've got to change anything. Plus, you've also got to consider, it's not just about nutrition. Was it a deload last week? Were you doing less?
Yeah, were you doing less?
Yeah, was it less? Have you been stressed at work? Have you skipped sessions? Have you been sleeping well? All these things. So you got to look at if your adherence has been as good as it can be, and you can look back and say with confidence, my adherence has been really good over the last 2 weeks. My measurements haven't changed along with my weight. Then you're going to make an adjustment. And that's why I would say from there, you would pull calories. Sometimes you only need about 100 to 150 calorie difference. You don't need a huge amount when you see a plateau, because if you're on let's say we start on a 500 calorie deficit, you're not all of a sudden going to be losing 300 grams a week, 300 grams a week, 300, 0. It doesn't happen like that. The body slowly will be burning less calories and become more efficient. So you will see your weight loss slowly trending and slowing down. So if you went 400 grams for, let's say, 3 weeks, then 300 grams for a week and 2 weeks, and then maybe go down to 2, you'll see that trend. And then you can start to make adjustments along the way. Sometimes 100 to 150 calorie adjustment is all you need to start moving it again in that right direction. Yeah. You don't have to then take another 500 calories off.
Yeah.
Little bits go a long way.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Sometimes,
yeah.
definitely less is
yeah.
more. Especially when you've got performance goals.
Yes, and clients think I'm a fucking magician. It's like, 100 calories and I'm losing. It's like, yeah, because you're already in a deficit. You're just going to extend a little bit more.
I have a client who in the past has been like, I just want to get in and get out quick. So they go from, and I don't handle their nutrition. They decide to do it on their own despite what I told them. They'll go from eating like 2,500 to eating 1,500. And I'm like, if you have performance goals, yes, you will lose weight by doing that, but at what cost?
Yes.
Like, we're going to just lose everything we've just built over the past.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point to this?
Yeah.
So if you have a performance goal, generally slower is going to be better.
100%.
Yeah. There are, outlier medical conditions where a doctor will say to you, we need you to lose weight fast. Yeah. That's different.
You ain't a hybrid if you listen.
That's not this now. Okay? So slower is better.
Yes.
Yeah. In terms of, and this one is interesting because some people say you don't need this, and you'll probably be able to shed light on this. Nutrient timing around training sessions when in a deficit. And I'm talking particularly, probably more so carbs than anything.
If performance is your goal, I would say yes.
Yeah, so what
I used to say no.
Yeah, what kind of strategies do you think, or things people, I wanted to say the word optimal, but it's not the right thing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What things people should be doing or looking out for when in a deficit around nutrient timing? So I'll tell you, for example, with me, I find I always need to have some form of carbohydrates before I run.
Pre-workout nutrition,
Yeah, for me, like, some people can run without carbs. I can't.
Yeah.
My body's not there. It doesn't matter if it's a small run or whatever. My runs just always feel better if I've had some form of carbohydrates. Say 30 minutes, 45 minutes beforehand. I try to have them about an hour beforehand just so I have an empty stomach by the time I run.
Yep.
In terms of afterwards, I actually don't stress too much. I just try to make sure I get an even distribution of protein, carbs, and fats afterwards.
Yep.
And I normally end up replenishing myself just on its own throughout the day. But prior to the run, I always need to make sure I have carbs. In the gym though, I've been pretty sweet with just running on a cup of coffee.
Yeah, right.
And I'll still eat anyway because I hate training hungry.
Yep.
But I'm actually fine without carbs.
Yeah.
But for running, I don't know what it is. I find it so much harder if I haven't eaten. Is there anything that you think people need to do or add to their diet?
Yeah, I definitely think pre-workout carbohydrates. Where I used to be like, it doesn't matter, calories matter, intake, blah, blah. We're going for performance and we're talking about fat loss here. Context is going to be key. So we're talking about performance fat loss. Pre-carbohydrate training, carbohydrates before training is what you're going to want, or at least intra-workout, okay?
Yeah.
So again, if you're like, I can't eat, that's fine. Have something liquid that you can drink on, whether it be Powerade, a fucking performance gel, whatever it's going to be, something you can have where it is giving that instant source of carbohydrates. Because you're in a calorie deficit, you are not going to have replenished glycogen stores, which means you're going to have your carbohydrate muscle is not going to be topped up all the time. So it's kind of like you're always running on, like, let's say 3/4 of a tank at the start versus a full tank. So you need to give a little bit of a top up before your training. Is going to be the most important thing to maintain performance.
Yeah.
Again, like the timing, the distance, the length, I guess. So over an hour, you're going to want to have those intra-workout carbohydrates, whether you're doing cardio or I'd even say weight training more than anything.
Yeah.
So it's like after that hour mark, you want to make sure you're having at least 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrates within that next hour if you're doing longer distance stuff. Afterwards, if you're doing 2-a-day training sessions, like I quite often do, you want to have quick source carbohydrates and protein, easy to digest stuff. If you're not, you can just have a mixed meal of carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Yeah. Because by the time you get to your next training session the next day, you will have glycogen back on your muscles. But if you're going to train, let's say, 8 a.m. in the morning, and then 4 p.m. in the afternoon, you're immediately after your workout or your weight or your cardio session, you want to get carbohydrates. Just carbohydrates, protein, low fiber, low fats. So it's like a fucking protein shake with some rice crackers, or a bagel with a protein shake, or fucking the high protein milk with some carbohydrate, like with Milo cereal or something simple.
Yeah. Don't get scared of sugar, high GI, sugar stuff as well. Like
they're our friends.
Yeah, especially like you athlete, like the low GI stuff is good, but you don't want that slow release of energy. You need it now.
Yeah,
I need it now. This is why I'm having it now. Like before I run, I deliberately have jam on like white bread
because how good is jam?
Because it's quick and then it digests easily.
Yeah.
You don't want the slow release stuff. You want the stuff that's going to actually give you the hit, so you can then go.
Yeah.
Now, because we only briefly touched on it on gels and stuff when you run, this is what I do and I advise my clients to do. There's like heaps of people who have different methods, and if you're an elite level runner, again, you will probably do something completely different. But my general rule of thumb is you have a gel every 30 minutes, roughly.
Correct. Because they're usually about 30 grams of carbohydrates in a gel.
It depends.
15 to 30.
You can get all
sometimes
different.
More.
The ones I have actually have a little bit less, but that's because I have some water in them.
Oh yeah.
I try not to drink water when
I
but if the run is less than an hour and a half, I usually just don't have a gel at all. If anything, I'll just sip Powerade or something during my run.
Hydration. Just keep hydrated.
Yeah, keep hydrated. But if I do have a hard run where I know I'm going to have to gun it, or, I got to work hard for at least an hour, I'll have a gel or two on me. So, and I think for the half marathon I've got coming up, I'm undecided yet. I'm doing a test run this Sunday. I'm either going to use 2 or 3 gels. Last year I did 2. This year I might try 2 or 3.
2 or 3 gels in a half.
Which is one every 30 minutes roughly.
Oh, so you have it straight from the start?
I have one always before I leave.
Yes, before
I run.
Within within 20, 30 minutes?
30 minutes before I run,
I'll
have one gel. And then 30 minutes into the race, I'll have another one.
Yes.
30 minutes after that, I'll have one more. I'm undecided whether or not I'll have that third one because I have a feeling I'll finish around that, not far from there.
I was about to say, you'd probably top it up.
So I might not need it. We'll vibe it out. Yeah. But if you're running, if you're half marathon close to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, whatever, just have one every 30 minutes. So that might mean that you're running with like 4 or 5 gels on you. I know someone who ran a marathon with fucking 9 gels on them. It's not unrealistic.
Right.
Well, because they had one every 30 minutes. It took them almost 5 hours. What's that?
Roughly adds up.
Pretty much.
That'd be 10 nearly,
Yeah. So, and it's totally fine. Like, there's no right or wrong answer here.
You got to know what works best for you.
Just work it out.
Don't do it stupidly. Like, for example, on Sunday, I went for a ride. Did not plan how long I was going to ride for. Rode for 2 hours. Guess how many gels I had? 0. Guess how fucking fucked I was? 100% fucked. I had to stop at a petrol station 3 times to get Powerade, and that's too much water that I was drinking.
So you got cramps?
Yeah. Like my legs at the end were fucked, and I was like, "Sure, raw gels." So one, plan your training.
We should have just bought a chocolate, bro.
Chocolate? No, I wouldn't bought a chocolate.
Really? Or just something like.
Yeah, I know. I was like at the petrol station. My brain's like, I don't know what I fucking want. Carbohydrates, Powerade. I'm like, sweet. So I had that. But like, if I was like now being smart about it, I would buy gels. And you got to train your stomach to be able to handle them, because some people will be able to handle them better than others. The more you practice with them, even if you think, I might not need them, just fucking get your stomach used to them. You have to train. You're basically, I heard this the other day, it's like you're having a picnic while you're running, basically. You got to learn to eat while you're running. Or drink, or whatever fucking you have.
This will be the last one, but what are some signs of under or overeating? Or not overeating, but under eating at least.
Low fucking energy, bad sleep. So low energy availability. So energy availability is the calories you have left over for bodily functions after taking into account for exercise. If you have low energy availability, which means you're not eating enough for bodily functions, you'll start to notice your hair falling out. You're a female, you'll lose your menstrual cycle. You're a guy, testosterone will go down, your bone density will go down, you'll have really bad problems with your sleep. So these are fantastic signs to see if you are eating too little, if your weight is dropping too quickly, if you're just feeling tired all the time.
Are you in a mood?
If you're in a mood, if you're a cunt all the time, most likely probably hungry. That's me, for sure. They're going to be very, very common symptoms. One thing a lot of athletes do is they know how to train a lot, and they can't fucking eat, or they're scared of carbohydrates. So like, they're going to be your big things to focus on, okay? Your energy, your mood, your sleep, and your overall performance. If all that's just fucking dragging in the dirt, and you're thinking, I need to get lighter to improve my performance, but it ain't going the right direction, you're probably fucking your nutrition up.
Look, those are the main things. But if you guys, that was a lot. But if you guys have other stuff you want us to answer, please comment or just ask us individually on Insta. Tyson the Trainer, Coach Michael Sakos. Otherwise, That's another wrap. Anything you want to add?
No, just don't fucking be scared of carbs.
Yeah.
Bro, like if you're going to start claiming hybrid, bro, you fucking pump carbs.
You need carbs.
You
And
follow
sugar,
us on
it's
Instagram,
fine.
And sugar, bro.
It's fine.
Sugar, there's nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah, it's
You
fine.
will follow this cunt, you're going to see a lot of bread on this Instagram.
I love bread.
I get jealous of it. I eat bread, but not like the nice bread that he has. I just eat bagels. But like honestly, carbs are going to be your friend, so don't be afraid.
Yeah. But otherwise, you got questions, nutrition. Don't get stuck. Just ask us. It's all good. And if you need coaching, we're both available. Online coaching available to anyone, anywhere in the world. Thanks for listening to the Heavy Hybrids podcast. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.
Peace.
Man, you got time for one more?
Yeah, bro. Fucking nice. It's only 2:20. What are we doing next one?